KUAM News Headlines is presented by Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust, serving Micronesia since 1938. Matson and the Adahi Tano program. Cars Plus. Drive home in a brand new 2021 Hyundai Palisade equipped with Guam's only lifetime powertrain limited warranty. Call 477-7807 or visit carsplusguam.com. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it, and King's Restaurant, serving your local breakfast, lunch, and dinner favorites for over 45 years.
Ahead on primetime, Joseph R. Biden and Kamala Harris are sworn in as the President and Vice President of the United States. Plus, 40-year-old Donovan Ornelas appears in court via Zoom and is charged with the murder of 51-year-old Andrew Castro. And one village mayor speaks on the recent rash of theft and burglaries in Tamuning.
Hafide and good evening, I'm Peter Santos. At a time when so many of the inaugural traditions we have come to expect have been absent, one thing stayed the same. The new President of the United States took the oath of office just before noon on January 20th. As Natalie Brand reports from Capitol Hill, President Joseph Biden called for unity moments after being sworn in.
I, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr., do solemnly swear.
After taking the presidential oath of office, President Joseph R. Biden declared democracy has prevailed.
I will be a president for all Americans. All Americans.
Former Presidents Barack Obama, George W. Bush, and Bill Clinton were on hand for the transfer of power, as well as outgoing Vice President Mike Pence.
So help me God.
So help me God. Pence's successor, Kamala Harris, made history, becoming not only the first woman, but the first black person and first person of South Asian descent to become vice president. Speaking at the Capitol just 2 weeks after rioters stormed the building, the 46th president said unity is the only path forward.
My whole soul is in this, bringing America together, uniting our people, uniting our nation. And I ask every American to join me in this cause.
While today was steeped in tradition, only a small, socially distanced group attended the ceremony because of the coronavirus pandemic and increased security concerns.
The National Mall, usually crowded with supporters, was instead filled with flags. On stage, a bipartisan show of star power.
Amazing grace.
Notably absent, former President Donald Trump, who declined to greet his successor as he hinted at a political return.
We will be back in some form. I wish the new administration great luck and great success.
But Mr. Trump departed for Florida before festivities began. After arriving at the White House, President Biden will launch his administration with more than a dozen executive actions addressing issues from the pandemic to climate change. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
And in case you missed it, you can watch the encore presentation of the day's events and the inauguration special Celebrating America tonight at 7 p.m. on KUAM TV 8 and 8 p.m. on KUAM TV 11. The swearing in of Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and 3 new Democratic senators now gives the Democrat Party control of both Congress and the White House. Of course, Democrats also control our local government, which a pair of former Washington insiders say could be a big advantage for Guam. Nestor Lecanto reports.
Former Congressman Robert Underwood and one-time Interior Department Assistant Secretary Tony Babauta were in the nation's capital for the presidential inauguration. They agree that the underlying theme for Biden's speech, and perhaps the biggest challenge of the new administration, was unity.
President Biden carried the day. He spoke to us like he's your stable, reliable uncle. Look, folks, this is what's going on. Look, we have to get united. We have to stick together. And that kind of stability is like, the kind of stability and the call for unity that you experience after you've just come out of a typhoon.
I think we need to follow President Biden's suggestion about unity, even though we need to recognize that President Biden said unity is elusive in a democracy, but it's not unachievable. And he said if enough of us come together, however, everyone can move forward.
They point out that unity is also what Guam leaders will need in engaging the new administration. There's an advantage to being from the same political party, but the message has to be clear. For example, Biden has also proposed massive spending to rebuild the nation's crumbling infrastructure and also to spark the economy.
There shouldn't be 3 lists of different infrastructure projects being submitted to the Biden administration. One presented by the legislature, one presented by the delegate, one presented by the governor. Now's the time now. It's not impossible for these offices to get together and say, these are the 5 major infrastructure projects we should be pursuing for Guam, and then stick to that.
For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
The latest from the horrific beheading homicide of 51-year-old Andrew Ray Castro. A magistrate's complaint charges former police reservist Donovan Allen Chargaloff Ornelas with murder as a first-degree felony. KUAM's Adriana Cotero.
The clock was ticking. Once we got the call, once we made the assessment, it was boots on ground.
It was less than a 24-hour turnaround time for Guam Police Department officers making an arrest for the murder of Andrew Ray Castro. The 51-year-old male victim's lifeless body was found by his wife in their unit at the Val's Apartments in Santa Rita. According to the magistrate's complaint, the wife said that when she left for work that morning, 40-year-old Donovan Allen Chargaloff Ornelas was with her husband. Ornelas was eventually located and brought in for questioning and was advised of his rights. He then wrote a statement describing how he used crystal meth while at the apartment. GPD spokesperson Sergeant Paul Tapau.
The effort and the due diligence that was put into this was really turning a person of interest into, somebody that was, this was credible, the information that we received. We identified that person of interest. We were able to locate 40-year-old Donovan Allen Chargaloff Ornelas.
Ornelas appeared in Magistrates Judge Jonathan Kwan's courtroom via Zoom this afternoon. The government requested a $1 million cash bail. However, due to conflicts, both the Public Service Defender Corporation and the alternate Public Service Defender Corporation had to withdraw. The court appointed defense counsel Gloria Rudolph to represent him, and his magistrate's hearing has been continued to tomorrow. He faces murder as a first-degree felony with a special allegation of a deadly weapon used in the commission of a felony, and aggravated assault as a second-degree felony. According to court documents, Ornelas said he felt compelled to kill Castro because he had placed his family in danger. He wrote, quote, "I had removed his head from his body. I used the knife that was given to me. I placed his head into a black plastic bag," unquote. Ornelas admitted that he drove to an area in the north and left the head in a burned car in the jungle. Sergeant Tapau was at the crime scene on Tuesday. He says after working over 20 years in the department, this was one of the most horrific crime scenes he's ever responded to.
This hits hard, especially for the family members, those near and dear to him, and of course to the community and pretty much the entire island. But, again, good job to our initial preliminary investigators from patrol level at the Southern Precinct Command to our criminal investigators, and of course everybody that played a role in this.
As we reported, GPD Chief Stephen Ignacio stated this case may have been a result of drug involvement. Investigations continue into this case, with GPD working closely with the Office of the Attorney General's Prosecution Division. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Adriana Cotero.
This week on The Link, Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio spoke his piece on the controversial issue of former DOC officer Frankie Roslin getting hired at the Port Authority of Guam after he had pled guilty to official misconduct as a misdemeanor. Here's more.
The controversial case of former DOC Corrections Officer Frankie Roslin has been brought into the light yet again after it was confirmed that he's currently working as a program coordinator too at the Port Authority of Guam. In August of 2019, Roslin pled guilty to official misconduct as a misdemeanor for his role in the 2017 DOC drug conspiracy cases. In addition, Roslin is also in a relationship with the sister of Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio, who made it clear that he had no part in Roslin's new position at the port.
I did not have a role in the hiring, and if you know our family, I've never even had a conversation with Frankie about his case. The only things I've ever talked to him about is expressing some sorrow for what it's done to the family, and then relief when it was done. I didn't even know he applied for a job until he already had an interview. And at that point, I took myself for sure out of that. And he's going to have to go and compete in the merit system and figure that out. So, you know, when the senators are talking about official misconduct, obviously he played by the rules. There's no rule that barred him.
Elected officials are under constant scrutiny, and rightfully so, being that they hold the role of public servant. But the scrutiny doesn't just stop at the official, according to Lieutenant Governor Tenorio.
To be honest with you, I don't really want any of my personal family members or their relatives to work in the government because of this attention that they get. But I can't control that. And he went and got his job fair and square. And he's trying to rebuild his life for his 7 children.
As for his take on those who have history of official misconduct being rehired to a different position within GovGuam,
people charged with official misconduct, I guess it will be the policy of the legislature. If they want to pass that as an exclusion, barring people from employment, and it gets the public support, then it's the law and we abide by the law. We're supposed to try and recover people's lives. We don't throw people away when they make mistakes. Now, whether or not they should be entitled to apply for a government job, being a public servant, surely that is something that the policymakers will have to determine.
Now, Roslyn remains employed by the Port Authority of Guam. The probation office confirms that since entering the plea, Roslyn has completed all the terms and conditions. He was sentenced to a 2-year probation period that ends in August 2021. Violating trust and pleading guilty to official misconduct charges while working in the public sector, only to be rehired back into the government. Many in the community feel that this is a disrespectful offense made by GovGuam. Speaking out his personal frustrations, Department of Corrections Major Anton Uggan tells KUAM on the Link his thoughts on former DOC officer Frankie Roslyn's hiring at the Port Authority of Guam.
What those officers did to DOC and to the reputation of the officers was very bad. I mean, they were our brothers, supposed to help us, you know, and keeping the prisoners safe and keeping the contraband out. And here they were bringing it in and doing everything they should not have been doing.
Roslyn and a group of several others were arrested for their role in a scheme to smuggle drugs and contraband into the prison back in 2017. He pled guilty to the offense and was recently hired as a program coordinator at the port. Uggan disagrees with Adelut permitting Roslyn to re-enter GovGuam employment.
I'm still a little upset by what they did, and you violated your oath. You took an oath of office. Not many government employees take an oath, but you took an oath, and you violated it. And so I don't believe in second chances for those things.
An AG's opinion states that hiring individuals convicted of official misconduct is at the sole discretion of the agency directors. However, Senator Joanne Brown has introduced legislation to change this law. Stick around for more news here on Primetime. You're watching KUAM.
We get it. Living to the fullest is tough during COVID-19. You don't need to do it alone, and everyone needs a hand right now. We are here. Feeling overwhelmed? Call 647-8833 and let's talk. Mangagihem is a project of Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center.
It makes myself and it makes my team members very proud to work for an organization that has been on island for many years with its focus on reliability, dependability, and commitment to the communities that they operate in.
Matson's a great corporate citizen to the community.
We all benefit from any sort of environmental commitment we make. One of the ways that we do that is with our Adahi Utano program. There's action behind it, and so action breeds commitment.
With the Kaimana Gila coming to Guam, this brings a new age and modernization to the island.
It's exciting for me because it's a brand new ship and we can carry more freight into the islands. It just shows growth for Guam and Micronesia.
Matson would be nothing without its customers, and we hope to continue to serve you for decades to come.
Social distancing may be the new norm, but connection will always be our tradition. Through good times and tough times, we remain connected with you. Masks may be the new fashion, but protection will always be our style. You can always count on us to protect the things that matter the most. Sanitizing may be the new routine, but caring will always be our practice. We care about your loved ones and the things you value the most. And as we welcome our new normal, one thing remains certain: we will always be here for you. We're open and ready to serve you. Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust.
Guam is truly a majestic place with its sheer natural beauty, wealth of beaches, and culturally rich landscape. Unfortunately, Guam has a real problem with unwanted invasive species. Help us in preventing their introduction and spread. The coconut rhinoceros beetle, the little fire ant, the African snail, Siam weed. These are just a few of the numerous invasives on Guam. Follow proper custom procedures when bringing plants and animals into Guam.
Help protect Guam. Tell your family and friends about invasive species.
To report invasive species, call 475.
KUAM News, winner of the 2020 Regional Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Social Media.
We've seen the videos and pictures, broken car windows, suspicious vehicles casing houses, and CCTV footage of thieves caught in the act. Recently, there have been several reports of burglaries occurring throughout the Tamuning area, and the village mayor is speaking out. Here's more.
There is a string of crime going on where people are going into people's private properties, going into their cars. We're noticing a lot of people that are scoping out the area and so forth. We have been currently seeing a lot of postings on social media and on the neighborhood chat groups about suspicious vehicles going into the area or break-ins that have been happening. And so, you know, it's a great concern.
Chances are you've seen some footage like this on your social media feed. A thief casually strolling around someone's home with one thing in mind, to take something that isn't theirs. Tamuning Mayor Luis Rivera says she's been in communication with the Guam Police Department on the recent thefts.
I've been working with the Guam Police Department, you know, with our Tamuning precinct, our commander, and you know, his team, in regards to, you know, having more police presence out there in the community, to do more patrolling, and we want to bring back the Neighborhood Crime Watch meetings.
Mayor Rivera says that the Neighborhood Crime Watch meetings gave the community a chance to voice their concerns to GPD, but due to the pandemic, it's been a while.
We used to have it scheduled every quarter, where we have GPD come to our center, like a town meeting, and meet with those interested in asking questions, or, you know, just wanted to hear what's going on and what we can better do to help, you know, our neighborhood.
Mayor Rivera says they're always looking to beef up their Neighborhood Watch program.
We have a lot more signs we're posting up, you know, saying that, you know, we're watching you. We have a Neighborhood Crime Watch, you know, outstanding Neighborhood Watch community. We just ask that everybody who cares and is concerned be a part of this. And if, you know, we want the crime to stop, you know, we want to make sure everyone's safe, you know, then I asked them to kindly give us a call, give me a call, and, you know, we'll put them on the chat and work together to keep our community safe.
And a little reminder to those out there with sticky fingers.
Burglary shouldn't happen at all. People should just, you know, mind their private property. If it's not yours, don't touch it.
Mayor Rivera encourages the community to be vigilant, look out for your neighbor, and to be active and participate in your respective Neighborhood Watch group meetings and chats. Rivera also says that if you see anything suspicious in your community, to alert the respective Guam Police Department precinct.
It's been over 1 year, but the Guam Police Department assures us it's not a cold case. GPD spokesperson Sergeant Paul Tapao says the murder of Juan Uggan and search for a suspect is ongoing. Uggan was shot to death outside his Mangilao home just days before Christmas of 2019. His family has made several pleas for answers from GPD detectives, hoping to seek justice for Uggan. Sergeant Paul Tapao tells us on KUAM's The Link this morning that the case remains open.
We haven't closed the files on this and placed in our cold case file because, you know, just small informations that we get, you know, it's that information, you know, sometimes it takes us to, you know, the information that we receive, takes us a little bit further or away from what we're trying to gain, but some information that we get, it builds towards the case. So please understand that if we file it and place it in our cold cases, pretty much we have nothing to work with. But this is an active investigation with the Guam Police Department.
Tapao adds that the lead investigator was at the crime scene of the shooting and has since interviewed residents in the area. If you have any information regarding the homicide of Uggan, call GP Dispatch at 472-8911 or leave a tip at guam.crimestoppersweb.com. Another case the Guam Police Department is actively investigating is the search for 27-year-old Michael Jose Castro. Castro's mother, Melanie Guerrero, filed a missing persons complaint in November of last year. Guerrero tells KUAM that she is scheduled to meet with GPD detectives regarding the case. However, there have been no reports of arrests made in the case. GPD spokesperson Sergeant Paul Tapao says detectives continue to maintain contact and communication with Castro's family members and are moving forward in the case. As we reported, according to Guerrero, her son's car was found abandoned in the village of Santa Rita about 2 months ago. If you have any information regarding this case, contact GPD at 472-8911 or leave a tip at guam.crimestoppersweb.com. After former GDOE Chairman Maria Gutierrez turned up the heat Tuesday on the link on the state of neglect of school bus stops, Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio said he's not happy with it and is definitely not up to standards. He's since had a sweep conducted to identify which bus shelters are in need of attention.
I've asked Public Works to get the bus drivers, when they're not driving, to go out there and assess every single one of them so we can channel the resources.
He says it's pointed out the issue of the fact that it's unclear what agency would be responsible for the upkeep of the shelters. Now they're devising a project to get people to call in and report hazardous bus stops in order to get a better understanding and prioritize those that have been neglected and no longer serve the community.
It's been ignored and in some cases vandalized, and even though they're not in active use, we don't like to see that in our villages. So we'll come out with a good way to be more responsive. And I agree with Mrs. Gutierrez that it's unacceptable, and that's a challenge for me to make sure that we respond to that faster. I am disappointed that those were in that state before we went back yesterday.
Organizations interested in adopting bus stops can contact the Lieutenant Governor's office at 473-1110. Coming up, sports. You're watching KUAM.
Your community calendar is brought to you by Taco Bell. Whether it's your first meal or your fourth meal, we've got you covered. Taco Bell, live Mas.
We've made a lot of breakfasts, and along the way, we noticed something was missing. A warm cinnamon roll for breakfast, or with breakfast. A fluffy blueberry muffin from the drive-thru you're already driving through. A glazed apple fritter, which might find its way into your coffee. These are options every breakfast haver should have, and now they do. Meet the new bakery sweets at McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
What's up, Guam? Dave Delgado here for In the Zone. With me today, members of the Guam Pacific Tennis Club. We're here to talk about the tennis courts improvement project over at the Tamuning Gym. First off, Asensio Vicente, chairman, project lead person. Tell us about the project and what was done during the first phase of repairs at the tennis courts in Tamuning.
The project is all about reconditioning the tennis courts. It involves the water blasting and then repairs of the holes, patching, and then the final stage is going to be repainting. The next phase will be replacement of the and repair of the lights that is badly needed during nighttime playing time. To complete this project, we actually started this project 2 weeks ago, and we hope to finish it about four to 6 weeks time.
And who has come out to help with the project?
The club members were the first to actually gave us the idea of making this tennis court safe and have a facelift. And then we reached out to the local businesses, and they were able to open-heartedly give us some help financially.
Bernie Savito, founding member, past president. Tell us about the history of the tennis club and when you guys first started.
The club was conceptualized in 2012. There were just a few of us then. It was founded by Dr. Babasa, who is also a cancer survivor. We have a Saturday group then that wants to have a regular playing time, and we noticed that there are other players from Palau and from Micronesia who wants to join a club, and we see some tourists as well who wants to play. So we thought about forming a club to help these people play tennis and play with someone whenever they wanted to play. So that's how it came to be. I went ahead with the paperwork and went to Revenue Tax and registered a nonprofit.
And back in the days, the tennis courts, was it already playable, or did you guys have to invest some of your time and effort into it as well?
It was more playable then because the typhoons hasn't come yet. It was the 2 typhoons that really devastated the tennis courts. So we've been trying to keep it up. We've been trying to maintain it after the typhoons, putting up temporary lights and doing a lot of water blasting and cleaning. The club did a lot of things so that it could be playable.
Nilda Ramirez is the president and fundraising lead person for the project. Taking on a project like this definitely had to have a lot of help from both the private and public sector. Talk about the ways you guys were able to raise funds for the project.
For this particular project, we tried to ask donations from private companies, and we were very overwhelmed with outpouring support from personnel, from individuals, from members, from friends and members of our friends of our members. So it's really overwhelming.
A facility like that definitely helps with the community as far as physical fitness. Can you talk about just maybe how it's going to benefit not only the tennis club, but just members of the community?
Because of the situation nowadays, we have the pandemic, we have the virus. So I think with getting involved in physical activities, it will help. We have to be active. We have to get moving.
Dulce Rodriguez, Vice President, Assistant Fundraising Lead. You guys have a raffle coming up tomorrow. Tell us about the raffle and how that has helped with fundraising efforts.
Yeah, we started thinking of what is the best way to for funding for the project, and basically we think of an auction at the first time, but we decided not to do a raffle. And then some members donated like whatever things in their household that they don't need or that can still be usable, or still open boxes during Christmas time, gifts or whatever it is, then we can include it in the raffle, and we have some people donated like items, like we have our grand prize is a small screen TV, like a flat screen TV, and the rest is like small items or like coupons from gas coupons and certificates, something like that.
When and where would the raffle be held?
Tomorrow night.
Okay.
Yeah.
Asensio, how important is the public and private partnership when doing a project like this?
This particular relationship or ongoing work with the community and the mayor is gonna reinforce our binding relationship with the mayor as well as the community, because of this opportunity for the club to give back something to the community, and also on the mayor's support to our goals and objectives.
Follow the
this
script.
Project.
And before we close out the news tonight, our latest round of birthday shout-outs from the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club.
Introducing my brand new chicken. Crispy, crunchy breading on my juicy, thickest filet yet, topped with mystery sauce and pickles on a brioche bun. My cluck sandwich combos, only at Jack in the Box.
We rely on each other to be there in the good and bad times.
Parents rely on me for making sure that their kids are always in the best of their health.
The community relies on me when emergencies strike.
My students rely on me to move them higher in what they're learning.
Our kids rely on us to provide them with all the support they need.
For keeping us in touch every day.
For every call and schedule I receive, and for every emergency I respond to.
And with my need to respond in the timeliest manner.
To keep my knowledge updated.
For keeping us connected every day, we only rely on Docomo Pacific.
Before we close out the news tonight, our latest round of birthday shout-outs from the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club.
January 21st, happy birthday wishes on this Thursday to my Nicole Santos. Happy birthday, my baby, I love you. Can't believe you're 15 already, may God bless and guide you, is your shout-out. Klaus Joshua Sablon, happy birthday to you, and sending you lots of love on your special day. We love you. Your shout-out also says, from all your family and friends who say they're thinking of you today and always. Happy birthday to Vince Cruz Jr., sending love and getting love from the Barragata family. Happy birthday wishes also going out to David Allen Uggan today from his family, friends and family, and Francis Pangilinan. Happy birthday to Ma. You deserve everything in this world and more. Thank you for everything you do for me and my family. We love you so, so, so much. Love your family from Jigo all the way down to Santa Rita.
Remember, you can be a part of the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club by registering online at KUAM.com. Please make sure to include with your photo your name and your birth date. That's going to do it for us here on Primetime. Thanks for watching. Good night.